Crafty Hope and welcome. It is time for my week 26 mixed media prompt card. That means this will be the halfway mark for hashtag Crafty Hope prompts. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll explain real quick. Basically, back in October, I started this project in which I took a list of 156 prompts that I listed out. I have that list below if you'd like to join in this or just have a list of 156 prompts. But each week on Monday, I'm drawing 3 of those prompts and altering a playing card with those prompts. And this is going to build me a prompt deck so that by this coming October, I will have at least 52 cards. Because I still have the jokers in here, y'all. There are 2 joker cards that might come up with some other prompts to add to that list. But anyway, by the end of it, I should have 52 cards with 3 prompts on it that I can draw these individually or in groups or however I want to do it to get a mix of prompts. That's the idea anyway. For now, I'm really just enjoying myself altering these cards. So that's Monday. As I take those 3 prompts, I do one side of the card is my decorative side that includes all 3 prompts, and then the other side is my functional side, which has the prompts. And it's less decorative, but still, for the most part, it's going to contain all 3 of those prompts. All right, so this past week, this was this card, which was Recipe, Paint with Trash, and Violet. On Saturday, I do a larger project that has all of those prompts as well. So I'll put a link. I did an art journal page this past week using those 3 prompts. And I've got a full playlist of all of my Crafty Hope prompts that you can find at the end of this video. All right, so it's time to draw new prompts for our halfway mark. All right, I'm nervous. I mean, y'all, look how, like, this is almost halfway. This is so thick and chunky, and we still have another half of that to go. Crazy, right? All right, let's get to drawing. We're gonna get 3 prompts. Oh, and if you want to join in and play along, just make sure you use that hashtag Crafty Hope prompts, and you can use my prompts or the prompts that you draw. All right. Just had to say that real quick. Okay, so our first prompt is going to be stars. So there's another shape. We had rainbow house and dot 2 weeks ago, and that was surprising. But so we'll see what we get. We get stars, and that can be anything. You can draw stars or use star stickers or a star stamp, or I've got some beads that are stars. However that appeals to you. If you've got like tissue paper maybe that has stars on it, or if you want to do like a star constellation type thing, or your star sign, or however the word star speaks to you. All right, so prompt 1 is stars. Prompt number 2 is lace. Oh, that's going to be a fun combination. So I have lots of lace, and that's probably what I'll use is actual lace, like a ribbon lace type thing or whatever. But if you've got maybe a stamp that looks like lace, or a die cut that looks like lace, or embossing folders maybe that have a lacy pattern, or a picture with somebody wearing a lace dress, something like that, you can all, let that feed you. All right, stars and lace. All right, last prompt is I'm gonna dig deep for this one. Oh, we're gonna shuffle them real good. Let's see what we get. We get craft paint. All right, so that just means like the deco art type paints and things like that. Something you get at the craft store that maybe isn't a fine art paint. So not your Golden or your Liquitex or whatever, but like an acrylic craft paint. Or if you've got like just cheap craft acrylic paint from the Dollar Tree, that would work too. So just some kind of craft paint, so you're not, and if you don't have like a craft paint, don't go out and buy it. Don't, if you've got just, I don't know, just some cheap paint. That's all I really mean is cheaper paint. So even a cheap watercolor paint as opposed to a fine Daniel Smith type watercolor paint. So, okay, so stars, lace, and craft paint. I think we can work with that. That could be, I can already start to see a card coming together there. Yeah, Yeah, I've got an idea, at least for the prompt side. So I'm going to grab my card here. Oh, look at that. And we're going to alter it. I'll be right back with my supplies. All right, so I got to do some digging to find some things. And yeah, so let's start with stars. The first thing I went looking for, what was the first thing I went looking for? I don't even know. Oh my gosh, y'all. Yeah, I don't know. I ended up finding, I don't even know where this came from. Oh, I know. I went looking for some scrapbook paper with stars on it because I thought I had some, but I'm not finding it. But this slipped out, and it's just some kind of paper that is super sparkly and reflective. And I thought, oh, I'll take a paper punch and punch out stars. Well, y'all, I don't have a star paper punch. I thought I did. I don't. I have lots of flowers. I have circles. I don't have a star. So I may draw on the back and make stars. So that's an option. Once I did that, I was like, oh, I'll find a stamp. And then I remembered I had carved a stamp. It's mounted on some fun foam because it was a little floppy. It needed a base. So I have that one, and then I went digging in my stickers and I found these fun star stickers. So I've got quite a few options, and that's not even, I'm also thinking I might just splatter some acrylic gold paint to make like a splatter of stars. So those are options. For lace, the first thing this was the absolute first thing I grabbed, which is this Ziploc bag full of lace. And I think I bought it for $2 somewhere. I don't think it was this full. I think I've added to it, but it's got tons of different kinds of lace in it that I can pull out. The other option is when I was looking for the star stickers, I found and remembered I have these stickers that look like lace. So I found those first, but I also have this one. So those are definite options too for the lace, but I may stick with the regular lace. We'll see. And then craft paint, because I'm doing stars, I immediately thought of my Americana Midnight Blue craft paint. So I grabbed it out, but I have an entire assortment of other craft paints over nearby that if I want to grab a different color, I may do that. So that's my option. As usual, I will alter the card first in some way. I've been collaging over the top of them. I don't know, but I'm feeling pulled because I'm going to do stars in the dark to try putting some black gesso on here as my base. So I may do that instead. I'm thinking on it. So let's see what happens. I did decide to gesso it, but before I put the gesso, I took a sanding block, just a cheap one, and sanded both sides of my card so the gesso had a little more opportunity to stick to the card over that plastic lamination that's on them. So I'm using black gesso here, and I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all, I don't know. I'm going to paint this on. I'm going to show y'all in little bits and pieces that as I'm painting it, there you can see where the gesso is just not sticking to the card. I eventually get it all to stick on here. So I'm going to put it, on one side like this, and I'll dry it and then paint the other side with the gesso. You'll see all of this. I'm waving it thinking that would dry it. So I'll dry it once I get it completely painted. It still feels too thin and flimsy to me. I think I've gotten to the point, look at that, y'all, it's just not sticking. I've gotten to the point with these that because I've collaged on all of them, to start off, they feel fairly thick and sturdy. And these, I don't know, with just the layer of gesso on it, it felt super thin, just not even as thick as a regular playing card. And I think some of that could be the heating of the card when I try this. Like it melts something about it. But see, it was super floppy feeling. So I was like, okay, that's it. I'm going to go ahead and just collage on here. But since I did put down that layer of gesso, I am able to get the papers to go down with just my Oohoo glue stick. So you'll see that in a second. I was looking around. Yeah, it was hiding because I haven't been using it lately. And so I'm going to put that on just one half of the card, stick my paper down, and then lift my paper up and stick the other side down. And y'all, it was sticking already. It was great. I have not tried that with the card just sanded, and we may try that again later just for ease of use, but we'll see.
we'll see. Just so y'all know that there are other options than going straight in with um the matte gel because it's a better stickage adhesive. Oh my gosh. Words, y'all. It is, yeah. All right, so I trimmed that side. I'm going to flip it over and do the other side. So you can see I did one side with some kind of book text that was just, these are just pieces of paper that were on my desk. The side I've got some dictionary paper that looks like it's got some coffee or walnut stain on it. I'm not positive, y'all. I think I used part of that to blot up some of the uh, yeah, I know. Some of the violet that was in my art journal this past Saturday. So there's couple little splotches of violet acrylic paint on there that I'm not gonna dig here in a minute. All right, so I've got my collage down over the whole card. I'm going to add just a couple of those little extra strips that I cut off on there for some added texture. You know, I do love some texture. So that's both the book paper, well, they're both book papers, but both the, I don't know, whatever that one book was, and then the dictionary page. And I think some of that was to help obscure some of the writing on there because I didn't really want that to show up. And so putting that line through kind of blocked it off. So here is my midnight blue paint. I had some trouble getting it out through the little nozzle. It's clogged, not nozzle, the opening in the regular top of it. So I'm just going to open it up and use a big brush and get some paint out. And I'm going to scrubble that. I think I said scrubble that on something else, didn't I? What is wrong with me? Scribble. I think I'm trying to combine scrub and scribble. And I guess that is what I'm doing is scribbling because it's a combination of scrubbing and scribbling. But I got that midnight blue all over there. And then this is some Martha Stewart paint. And I was really disappointed the color. The cap that I've got the tester on shows it this really pretty green teal color. But when I squirted it out, it was more green than green blue. So I put a little on that card, but I wasn't happy with it. And I wanted this to be a little bit darker, so I go ahead and grab, this is some folk art acrylic paint. I mean, it's black, but I think they call it licorice. So these are just craft paints. Yeah. So I'm putting that down fairly thinly on top of that, but not covering all of that blue and green that's on there. And now I'm going to try it. And I knew immediately because I'd already envisioned it that this side was going to be my functional side with my prompts. So I'm kind of going with that method. So here's just some lace from my bag. And I trimmed it down because I really envisioned it going up the right side of my card. But it's not what I'm going to do. But I did cut down a little piece of the lace. And I'm getting out that Liquitex gold acrylic ink that I love so much. And y'all, this is that bottle that I'm trying to work everything out of. So I got a little bit that's in the bottom with my fan brush and splattered that. There was one big clump I wasn't real happy with, but that's okay. So I'll dry that. And what I love about this ink is when it dries, it's even like brighter and prettier than it was when you first splatter it. It's awesome. So here's me trying that lace again. Once I put it across the bottom, it suddenly felt like clouds. Do you see that? Like fluffy little clouds. And so I was like, well, maybe I'll turn it upside down and put my prompts across the top of it. But no, I really wanted it as a border. So I'm using my Fabri-Tac straight onto my card and then sticking the lace in it. And then I'll trim the excess off the side just to, yeah. But it does it looks like pretty little clouds there. So I thought about layering it from there up. You see, I'm going to pull it out and kind of look at it and see if I could layer it somehow. But it just wasn't working. And I decided, you know what, I'll just put it across the top too, and that will frame up this whole card here. So more Fabri-Tac, another bit of that lace, and then I'll trim the excess. And y'all don't worry, that little bit I'm cutting off totally went into a bin off to the side to maybe get worked into some of my assemblage later. At least this mini assemblage. So I cut down all my prompts and I'm using, I think that, oh, I can't remember. Let me see. That is black soot distress oxide that I am inking up all the edges of these, um, of these, um, prompts just to give them a little accent, a little age, a little something. It's something I've been trying to do lately. It gives these a little more of a finished feel when I actually ink the edges. So I'm trying to do that more. And again, I'll use the Oohoo to stick it down because this is just on copy paper. I didn't put them on anything fancy. I do have to be careful when I do stuff like inking them because it is just cheap paper that sometimes the ink almost kind of rubs off if I'm not careful. But that's okay. Again, it gives it an age look. So with that, my side with my prompts is on there. And you know what? It's just hitting me. I never added my number to the corner. So I'll have to go back in maybe with a gold gel pen to add the 26 to that. Yeah, I may do that in just a little bit. So now I'm going to work on my decorative side, and I decided to start with some of that lace sticker. So I put that, and you can see it disappears almost immediately on that dictionary paper. So I am going to get that ugly green paint, craft paint, because I still have to add craft paint on this side, and water it down a little bit to see if it will pick up the texture of that lace sticker. And I ended up painting the whole card, y'all. It just, I don't know. I don't know. So I paint the whole card. You can see there that violet blob that's up there at the top of the page, and I kind of hate that I took away a lot of that uh, coffee stain or whatever was on there, but it's okay. It was just scrap paper. So now there's my midnight blue, and I watered it down quite a bit as well. And again, I am trying to get it into the nooks and the crannies of that lace to make it pop. And you can see it here while it's wet that it has that definition. I'm kind of wishing I had gone for maybe my Stabilo or something like that to pick it up even more, something darker. But this was all an experiment. So yeah. So there's me trying to blot up a little bit of that, and so I'll come back in with more paint. Like I said, I really wanted that texture because these stickers do have a texture to them. They're not just flat. They're kind of rubbery, plasticky feeling. So I don't know. So I'm gonna go ahead and try that. And since it is rubbery and plasticky, I tried not to burn that sticker or melt it. So now I am trying to get that texture with my finger by picking up some of that gold that's on the nozzle of that Liquitex ink and just rubbing it lightly over the lace. And this does an alright job too. I think maybe a black would have done. Again, I think if I had gone dark, it would have been better. So once that was on there, I'm going to add my stars, and I'm using these stickers again and just kind of smattering them all over. I'm doing a mixed metal thing with the gold and the silver, and it's gonna work out. I'm really happy. There was parts of this card that I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be so bad. I cannot believe how awful this is going to be. And by the time I got this all done, I gotta tell y'all, I'm super thrilled with it. I am happy with this card. So stay on this ride with me. I know that it's uh it's in a bumpy stage right now. You got to work through the ugly sometimes. And that's what I'm doing. So, got my stars on there. I'll add one more here toward the end, but you can see I kind of put some of them off onto the edge of the card so that I don't know, made the pattern feel a little more I don't know, less contrived, I suppose. So I pulled out a little picture of a girl from a yearbook and crumpled her a little bit. Well, more than a little. She got good and crumpled. And I'm going to ink her edges just to give her some age. And that's with walnut stain distress ink. And I wanted her on a piece of fabric just to frame her up a little bit. So I'll take some time and tear that down. I think that's some rust dyed fabric. I think it may be rust and like turmeric that's on it. So I don't even know where I got that. It's something I made at some point, probably maybe from I don't know, y'all. I don't want to guess. And then I decided to ink the edges of the card just to bring that brown through the whole card. Since I've got it on her picture, I wanted it elsewhere, kind of on the card. So yeah, so it feels cohesive. It's what I do. And once that was all nicely done, I think I'm going to go ahead and bring in some more lace. I've got this other lace here, and I knew I just wanted a little snippet of it to go across the photo. And that way, because the lace at the top kind of disappeared some, and this, it just felt right across the little bottom of her picture with her with that big collar. This lace will cover up some of that collar, but it's okay. So I'll use my Fabri-Tac again to stick her onto my rusty fabric. And then I'm trying to remember what order I do this. This lace was, because it was at the end, was kind of like rolling around on me. So I knew I needed to stick it down. So more Fabri-Tac on the picture and stick that lace down. And then I think I Fabri-Tac the whole back. Just make it easier, y'all. I'm loving the Fabri-Tac. I don't know, it took me so long to finally go and get some, and I'm real happy that I did. So I'll stick her down, and then because I have the gold stars, I decided to pull in my metallic words or whatever from Tim Holtz and found the one that says believe in daydreams, and I really loved that. There was something about the stars that made me think of like dreams and that kind of thing, but because it's the kind of the blue green background, it's more like a daytime. So I thought that was kind of perfect. So I added that, and I'm looking at these, and that's why I decided I needed another star on this side. So I'll stick it down. And then card number 26 is done, except for that 26 I got to add on it. But thank y'all for sticking with me. Yeah, this was a wild ride, but it worked out beautifully. If you liked it, make sure to give me a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe and use that hashtag if you play along. I love to see what you create with these. All right, guys, thank you so much for coming by and watching, and I will see y'all very soon. Bye.